Okay, so I think we found the reason people like the subclass, and I don't see it being that fun, but that's just me personally. That's a fun preference, you know. What people enjoy in this game is gonna vary, and this does not
Yeah.
excite me.
Hello, friends. Robert Bevan here, author of the Caverns and Creatures series of comedy fantasy novels and short stories. With me is Sam West, and today we're doing another cleric. This is the Twilight Domain.
I feel like people love this. I don't get it.
Do they? Because yeah, having just read it through it, I'm not sure I get it either.
Yeah, it's so mediocre. That's okay. We'll talk about it as we go through it.
Yeah,
So we start with bonus spells. Again, bonus spells that aren't these are domain spells. They're always prepared for you. The most interesting ones tend to be ones that aren't already cleric spells because again, it gives your cleric a new spice, a new little variety that makes you different than the rest of the clerics. So what does this option get? So we get Fairy, Fire, and Sleep as our first level prepared spells. Okay, those are both pretty decent, pretty unique. Sleep is a little bit
pretty
clunky,
okay.
but it's fun to use. Fairy Fire is fine.
Yeah,
Okay. Third level, you get Moonbeam and See Invisibility. Well, one of those spells just doesn't work. And the other one's Moonbeam, which is a little bit clunky. It can be fine sometimes.
people like
Um,
Moonbeam. I've never been a fan of it, but yeah,
it's particularly good if you can get something to stay in place because you don't have to move then after you get the
right.
cast, and it just persistently does 2d damage. It's just hard to make that happen. I've found it's nice that the cleric gets this, so if you have a druid in the party with you, they can lock something down. You just light it on fire with a giant blast from the moon. Kind of cool. You just don't want to have to spend actions moving this. I don't think. Fifth level gives us Aura of Vitality and Tiny Hut. So Aura of Vitality is you can use a bonus action to give somebody 2d6 hit points for a minute. So this is kind of just like, okay, I spend third level slot and I give a bunch of people hit points back. Okay, 10 minutes or 20d6 hit points is a lot of hit points
Yeah,
for a third level spell. That's just technically true. Tiny Hut is a spell that is very contentious. I don't like it that much. It's kind of like a long rest in a tin that can lead to some adversarial relationships where like the DM will start countermeasuring it by just piling traps on top of it while you're resting inside there, and then you feel like they're being a dick, but at the same time you weren't supposed to rest there. It's a complicated spell. We talk about it in our Tiny Hut video at length, but I don't love it, right?
yeah,
Seventh
yeah.
level
I
get
feel
Aura
pretty
of
much the same way.
yeah. Seventh level get Aura of Life. Life preserving energy is 30-foot radius, moves with you. Each non-hostile creature has resistance to guard damage. Hit point max can't go down. At the beginning of their turn, if they start their turn with 0 hit points while in the area, they get 1 hit point. This is the uncastable aura spell. It's this one. I always forget which one it is. It's just the stone uncastable one. This Aura of Life. That's the stone uncastable one. All right, great. Glad we got it. Fortunately, you get a real spell that you get greater invisibility at the same time, which is cool. I like that you get only greater invisibility with an option because it's like a unique thing that you kind of have to battle. Like you don't have the flexibility of having lower tier invisibility, so you just have to use the minute long one for your
Yeah,
invisibility shenanigan. I like that a lot. We end on Mislead, which is a cool little effect. Makes you invisible and makes duplicates of them or something. Oh no, sorry. You pick a bunch of people. No, you
no, that
become
was a different
invisible. You
one.
make the duplicate. That is the one I was thinking of.
Yeah,
Sorry. I was thinking of seeming. You
right.
become invisible. You make a duplicate. You can have the duplicate do stuff. You can commit crimes while the duplicate's seen elsewhere. Circle of Power is the other option you get until the spell ends. Sphere moves with you. Friendly creatures have advantage on saving throws against spells and magical effects. It's pretty good. Used to be a paladin exclusive. You getting this is pretty powerful at 9th level. Just advantage on saving throws
Yep.
against spells can be backbreaking, and when you need it, you can just be like, "Oh, I have this auto prepared, but I didn't have to prepare it ahead of time. We just stumbled into a spellcaster encounter. Great, Circle of Power."
Sounds
This
good.
this list seems pretty reasonable, right? Like there are
Yeah,
some stinkers.
got a couple
Aura of Life,
duds.
See Invisibility are just non-spells for the most part. But Moonbeam could get cast here or there. Fire, and Sleep are both fine. Greater Invisibility is great. Great. It's a pretty good list.
Yeah, not bad. I've seen worse.
Yeah. First level proficiencies we get bonus proficiencies. Martial weapons and heavy armor are bonus proficiencies for you. Great. So you have a high AC and can hit things with a club slightly better. Eyes of Night is one of the next 2 features you get. So this says starting at first level, you can see through the deepest gloom. You have 300-foot dark vision. In that radius, you can see in dim light as if it were bright light, darkness if it were dim light. As an action, you can magically share the dark vision of this feature with willing creatures you can see within 10 feet, up to a number of creatures equal to your wisdom modifier. The shared dark vision lasts an hour. Once you share it, you can't again until you finish a long rest, or unless you spend a spell slot of any level to share it again. Okay.
Yeah, this has got the problem that most races already have dark vision, and I would have liked this a lot more if you could see through magical darkness.
Me too. And like, I'm not gonna lie, like, do you need 300-foot dark vision? In most environments, I think the answer is no, but okay, you got it. The thing you get is Vigilant Blessing. At first level, the knight has taught you to be vigilant. As an action, you give a creature you touch advantage on the next initiative roll they make. It ends immediately after immediately after you roll initiative or use this feature again.
All right, I value initiative more than you do, but I'm not impressed.
Yeah, that's boring and okay. The rogue goes later and you go earlier, so you set up the rogue, you give it to the fighter, you give it to the paladin, they get to get in there first more often. Eh? Eh? This doesn't seem cool. This doesn't really seem interesting. This just seems like dark vision and advantage on an initiative roll.
Doesn't feel Twilighty either, except for the dark vision, I guess.
Yeah, but while it may feel Twilighty, it doesn't like help bring about Twilight. It doesn't shroud things. It just lets you see through darkness.
You know,
It doesn't like bring about darkness. Second level, you get Channel Divinity Twilight Sanctuary. So you can use your Channel Divinity to refresh your allies with Soothing Twilight. As an action, you present your holy symbol and a sphere of twilight emanates from you. Sphere centered on you has a 30-foot radius and is filled with dim light. Sphere moves with you and it lasts for a minute or until you're incapacitated or to die. When a creature, including you, ends its turn in the sphere, you grant the creature one of these benefits. It gets a d6 plus your cleric level 10 HP. That is a lot of 10 HP.
yes.
And you can end one effect causing it to be charmed or frightened. So this does just kind of beat charms and frighten conditions. That's kind of neat.
Which is nice at second level.
Yeah. This is probably the
And
reason people like it a lot. This is just like so many temporary hit points. Right? Like
yeah, I guess
Twilight
that's
Shroud,
how big is this?
30-foot radius.
Wow, that is a lot.
Yeah. So basically everyone in your party gets a top up of 2 plus like 5-ish temp HP every round.
I guess
Striking
that
out 5 damage
includes-
every single round does seem pretty powerful, right? Like that damage adds up very fast as far as how much this mitigates.
Yeah, I guess that includes, familiars and summons and everything.
Yeah.
This is like the a huger version of inspiring leader.
Yeah. There's a ton of like
I mean,
I'm
yeah, I
never
can see that at high levels, like when you've got more levels worth of temporary hit points and more allies with more summoned creatures or pets or familiars or whatever. That could be potentially very big.
yeah, pretty obnoxious.
Yeah,
I read it as obnoxious. Like I also don't, again, outside of making it dim light, I don't see much of the fantasy. Like I don't
no,
entirely get why the one character that's worshiping dusk and the passing of light to shadow is giving everybody a bunch of hit points.
no,
I
but it's
don't know.
potentially very powerful.
Yeah, sure. It also just mitigates all charms and fears, right? You can just be like, no
Yeah,
one can be charmed or feared ever again as long as they end their turn within me. So that does mean like you'll have a turn where you are frightened, and then this thing will trigger. But
as
still,
long as
like,
they run away into your sphere.
or you can. I mean, a 30-foot
Yeah,
radius is enormous, right?
yeah.
Like 60-foot diameter, you can position yourself to make them end their turn in it. That's not going to be a hard thing to do. Okay, so I think we found the reason people like the subclass, and I don't see it being that fun, but that's just me personally. That's a fun preference, What people enjoy in this game is gonna vary, and this does not excite me. There's just like a ton of hit points, and I go, okay.
It is a ton of hit points though.
Yeah, demonstrably this is a ton of hit points. I'm like, imagine like a 10th level cleric just being like, okay, everybody, everything needs to do like over 40 damage around to have a shot of dropping anyone. Sound pretty obnoxious.
Wasn't there a druid subclass that had a similar feature? Like, was that also temporary hit points or was that regular hit points?
There's a druid feature that I don't remember. There's a bear that gives some constitution buff or something. There's features that they don't move with you and they're smaller range that give 10 HP like this. Comment down below. Let us know the druid feature that Bob's thinking of. Anyway,
or I mean, I'm just thinking combine this with one of these auras. I mean, something that restores the hit points and well, of course, it wouldn't restore temporary hit points. So
okay,
never
here's a
mind.
question. Do you care? Right, you're giving out so many hit points. Do you want any other features that care about hit points at this point? Given how many you're giving out every single round to your whole team,
I'm
like,
just
do you?
I'm trying to stack this in a way to be more ridiculous.
Oh,
But
just being
no,
more annoying. Got it.
yes.
Aid works. That gives more max HP. 6th level, we get Steps of Night. So at 6th level, you can draw on the mystical power of the night to rise into the air. As a bonus action, when you're in dim light or darkness, which the Twilight Sanctuary makes, you can magically give yourself a flying speed equal to your walking speed for a minute. You can use this bonus action number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you gain them all when you finish a long rest. You don't have to stay in the darkness or dim light to maintain the fly speed. Once you get the fly speed, you can do whatever you want with it. Again, I don't see the fantasy in having a
No.
fly
Well, I mean, it's called
speed.
Steps of Night.
Yeah, but you're not stepping. You're just like
No,
flying. You're not
and I
like
can even if
if
you were stepping, I wouldn't
if
get
you're
it.
moving from like one shadow to another shadow, like you moving through them, teleporting around like Shadow Monk,
Right,
I could
like
see
Shadow
that.
Monk.
But this is just like, okay, I go under the shutter, now I can fly.
That's like Superman going to the phone booth.
Yeah, right? Quick, someone throw a
Uh,
blanket over me so I can fly real quick. Like that works, right? As long as you block the light and get into dim light, you can do
yeah.
this.
Yeah, not I mean, not thematically great, but yeah, being able is not concentration, right?
No,
Non-concentration flight at level 6. That's pretty good.
yeah, that's fine. I'm just not. I don't feel compelled. This doesn't excite me. It's just like, okay, you're flying and you're giving a bunch of people hit points. Okay,
Just like Twilight.
very Twilight. Divine Strike is at 8th level. At 8th level, you need to be able to infuse your weapon strike with divine energy. You do a bonus D8 radiant damage on hit. 14th level becomes 2D8. Why is it radiant, not necrotic?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. That's Radiant is the opposite of Twilight.
Like light into darkness is the force would make more sense. Psychic to me even makes somehow more sense because like nightmares and terrors and stuff. Let me read the fluff here. The twilight transitions from light to darkness often brings calm and even joy as the day's labors end and hours rest begin. The darkness can also bring terror, so the gods of twilight guard against the horrors of the night. So the idea is you're like a bastion against darkness by using darkness, kind of. Okay, sure. Just because I'm not getting the fantasy doesn't mean this is a funish feature to use. A couple uses of like a 6th level moving around fly is probably gonna be fun. You're gonna look like if you want to look the fantasy, I feel like you can do some Dark Phoenix crap here, right? You can do the I'm a flying shadowy dark figure with the blowing, billowing evil hair, and I'm casting darkness and using it to
Evil
defend my
hair.
friends. Sure.
All right.
Divine Strike lets you do a little bit of radiant damage now. Yeah. All right, we end on Twilight Shroud at 7th level. The Twilight you summon offers a protective embrace. You and your allies have half cover while in the sphere created by your Twilight Sanctuary, which is just an AC bump, which is pretty good. So now you're giving everyone HP and AC. So they're going to be much harder to kill.
Yeah, I guess it is powerful.
I really don't like the first level features, but they're not unusable, and there is genuinely a powerful stuff through the rest of this. Twilight Shroud is not all that exciting, but it is probably pretty powerful because it's just +2 AC is basically what that reads. I mean, or it's half cover. That might be 4 AC. Let me double check. Let's see. Target with half cover gets +2 bonus to AC and Dex saving throws. Cool. I think I'm supposed to give this an A, which is weird because I just don't find it that exciting personally. But it does do powerful things. It gives you usable features across the board. It's everything that looks fine. It's a team player ability. The spell list is fine. I guess it's just not for me. Like, this is a powerful option. I'm glad people have fun with it. I've learned through discussing it in depth why I think people might like it.
Yeah.
I just don't find it to be that interesting. I think there'll be some tables that are like, oh my god, I just can't kill the party anymore with this stupid Twilight Sanctuary. I do think it's a real thing that probably happens in the mid-tiers.
Potentially very powerful. It's like it encourages you to be in fireball formation and then like kind of mitigates against getting fireballed.
True. And like it's slightly better than that even, right? Because you can have people on the outskirts. Like it's not going to be hard to keep the rogue that goes off by themselves in this. It's not going to be hard to keep, the barbarian that dove into the front line by himself in the sanctuary. Like that's not going to be a tall order, I don't think. And you're just going to keep juicing up with hit points every level and make them not able to end their turn or not able to start their turn, end their turn being charmed or afraid. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, especially with the Twilight Shroud. I mean, they've already got the like a massive amount of temporary hit points, and then they get fireballed. They got to make a dexterity save,
Plus
and
two to that.
yeah.
There's also like it compounds on all the upper tier AC problems where it's like, oh yeah, everyone just has magical armor and shields and shield and all the other ways they can bump AC, and now Twilight Shroud is just one more thing you stack on top of it. And now we're looking at mid ACs of 30. Like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's nuts.
This
I
feels
gotta,
like defense the subclass to me. That's what it feels like. It's just
yes.
vanilla stats.
But yeah, I gotta agree with your A in terms of power alone. That's not something I'd ever be interested in playing.
Same.
There's nothing, not a lot Twilight-y about it. Like, you could call this anything the cleric, and it would be just as fitting.
I think Protector, the cleric, is what this
Yeah.
is, right? Protection domain is what Twilight Shroud's giving you, basically. And then you also need to fly. But I guess like any cleric option is allowed to fly because gods are up there. Okay.
But yeah, I could see this being a real headache for a DM.
Maybe that's why I'm so unenthused, because I see almost all subclasses from a DM perspective first, and I go, oh my god, that's just I have to do how much damage to everyone around to make these fights feel fair. All right, I guess we're just jacking those damage numbers up. Let's do this thing.
This is this might be one of the most like, what's the word? Like for the entire party, the most
Team oriented?
what's that?
Team oriented? I don't
Oh,
know.
team oriented, yeah, I guess, or like effective. Not exactly the word I was looking for, but I have a cold. My brain's on half power right now.
It's fair.
But yeah, it's this can really boost the party quite a bit. All right, that was Twilight Cleric. Thank you, Sam, and thank you everyone for watching. Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. I guess we got a lot of fans of the Twilight Cleric, and now I see why. But yep, let us know your thoughts. Like, subscribe. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.